You go to do the bench press and it's taken. So you're like, what do I do? But you know there are other exercises. You know you can do it with dumbbells. You know you can do it on a machine. You know you can just do some press-ups. So I'm in the middle of the board a-hole here, and today we are going to celebrate going to the gym. We're not going to celebrate personal best. We're not going to celebrate that time you dropped 42 stone. We're not going to talk about that time that you had ripped abs. You ran around your park naked until you got arrested, but you didn't care because everyone's going, look at his abs, they're so great. We're going to talk about the little things, the tinier things that happen to you when you're in the gym and genuinely not only put a smile on your face, but they affirm your life. That's right, they're game-changing, they're life-affirming. They make you finally feel that you are part of the BLC, the Big Little Club, or whatever kind of fitness clan you want to be in. Because this kind of stuff isn't talked about enough. It's just true. They make you feel good. They make you feel happy. Look at this weird thing I'm doing with my head. And these are the 10 best, great, woohoo, wahey, life-affirming, changing events that happen to you in the gym. In at number 10 is being asked to spot somebody else for the first time. Don't pretend it hasn't happened to you. A bit different now with the global pandemic and whatnot. You're not actually meant to be spotting, but look, it still happens. Isn't it the best? Because at one stage, you were just a measly noob. You were nothing, whatever word you want to use, even though you're not, but in your own head, that's how you feel. And then someone who clearly has gym experience, has clearly been going to the gym to you, comes up to you and they say, will you spot me? And at that moment, it's kind of, you're caught in like a Titanic moment. You're caught in the wind, not my hair, but your hair is flying around. It's like, da-da-da, da-da. It's like the greatest moment that's ever happened to you in your life. And it makes you feel so confident. Because you're like, well, one, they must believe I'm able to handle whatever weight they are going to lift. Two, they trust me not to kill them, which is essentially what spotting is. And three, I have now been accepted. I have now been accepted, and people want me to spot them. And then you get to do the spot, say you're doing a bench press, and it's the most terrifying thing in your life, is it not? You're so intimidated. You're like, how much pressure shall I put on the bar? How long should I wait until he starts struggling? What if I pull too much? What if I don't pull enough? Like, it becomes this whole thing in your head. You're like, oh, he's struggling. I've been concentrating. It's a crazy thing, spotting. Don't forget, that's what it is. It's like, I don't want to die, but I would like to lift as possible, as heavy as I possibly can. So please do help me. But I remember the first time someone asked me to do it. It's usually bench press because that's the scariest exercise of them all. And I remember I went home that night and I was like, you've done all right, Simon. Somebody in the gym trusted you enough to spot them and give them the ultimate muscle breakdown possible. I had to wipe a little tear away in my eye. Number 9 are those sessions when you go and you're really strong for no reason. You kind of walk around like a dog chasing its tail, trying to figure what you've done. You sit down like Sherlock Holmes and you go through your entire day going, well, did I eat more? Did I sleep better? Did I take a brand new supplement? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I say nice words to someone? This is life giving me some karma. It never makes any sense. And it's illogical. It happened to me the other day. I was deadlifting, and I can't remember what I was deadlifting now, but it was kind of towards the end of my heaviness, and I don't make any sense, but towards the end of my sort of, max reps, and I just repped out 8 reps. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And then the next week I tried it and it was like picking up the world. So I was like, what the hell happened? And you go into investigative mode. You try and become Professor Layton just to try and figure out what the hell you did.
It just doesn't seem to add up, Professor.
I honestly thought you were pulling my leg.
But it makes you feel so good. And it makes you feel, if you take the video game as a gym, it makes you feel like you just beat the final boss and finally you've reached the end credits. And now it's just going to be great. But it's not. The gym is just done. It's unfair. The gym is like a game of table tennis. So you'll do one great shot and you think, oh, I finally got it down. And you do the next one and it flies over the table and bonks somebody right in the head who turns around like, what the hell, dude? You're like, I'm sorry, I'm playing table tennis. And they understand because they've been there as well. But still, in that moment, again, in that event, it is so good. And I sometimes get text messages from my friends that just find in the gym going, man, I was really strong today in the gym. What did I do? And I'm like, bro, I've been going to the gym for 2 decades and I still can't answer that question. It can just be that you feel positive and you feel good. And because of that, you have positive and feel good lifts. But it's still absolutely brilliant. And I look forward to my next one. I really, really do. You'll see a little riled twitch at the side of my face that I'm informed is called a smile. I'd enjoy it. Number 8 kind of ties into number 10, but it's a bit different, so it gets in here, and that is somebody asking you for advice. This one is very, very personal to me because I don't really get how other people see me. I don't know how I see myself, right? And I don't think that I'm a big jack guy or anything like that. Some people say I am, which I'm massively appreciative of, but that's not how I see myself. So sometimes when I'm in the gym and maybe I'm doing, actually the last time it happened to you, let's do personal experiences. I was doing incline curls. Someone came up to me and they asked me about my form. They said, why are you doing like that? Because your form looks much better than mine. And once again, I was like, give me a second, please. I just need to get over this. It's like, wow, because basically this is the format, right? They have looked at you and gone, well, that guy looks like he knows what he's doing. I'll go and ask him. It's wonderful. It is tremendous. And sometimes you see people skulking over and you're like, yes. And then they go, are you done with that? And you're like, oh, I mean, no, obviously, because I'm training right now. They don't say that. They say, how many sets have you got left? And I always go 72 because I don't like being asked that question. It's a pet peeve of mine. But I always get excited. It's going to be the other one, which is, can you help me in my fitness journey? And my answer 100% of the time is always, not only will I help you, I will now be your new best friend. And they realize they've made a terrible, terrible mistake. Number 7, this may be more pertinent to me. I don't know what you're doing in your gym life. It's when you finally decide, I'm going to wear vests or tank tops, whatever you want to call it, to the gym. I've only really been doing it this year. It was kind of like, we did a video on the channel about how I kind of get freaked out about being half naked when I wrestle. And a way to try and get me more confident with that was wearing vests to the gym. Because I used to walk around the gym like this and like, hide away, please don't look at me. But then eventually, and again, this is me, maybe the same for you, you get into a routine and you feel more comfortable with it. And then because gym mirrors are lies and they're deliberately put under certain lights or, shaped in a certain way to make you look massive, you'll catch yourself. And once again, you don't want anyone to see, but you're like, that didn't look too bad. And then you run around like a kid in a school playground, like, tee because you're just so happy with it. It's great, man. It's great. And then that always relates in a better workout. Because of course it does. You've given yourself a massive confidence boost. And you always need to, walk that tightrope. Because when you get home with your crappy mirrors and your pumps worn off, you're like, what the hell happened? Who the hell stole all my muscles? But in that very moment, it's probably one of the greatest things ever. And you may even give your arm like a cheeky flex, right? Get that tricep horseshoe going. You're like, I know all about the tricep horseshoe. The tricep horseshoe is great. Number 6 is when you spy somebody across in the gym and you know they're a beginner, because not necessarily they're struggling, but you can just see the gears whirring in your head, and you realize that you are no longer that guy. We've done gym stereotypes before, and it's a weird thing, a gym stereotype, because you can actually move out of one into another. So you will be the gym beginner, the guy with no plan, you don't know what you're doing, but then you'll move into the guy that does understand, and then you can actually see other people who were where you were. And it's a lovely moment. It's a lovely moment for 2 reasons. 1, circle of life, because you realize that somebody else is going to get where you are now, and then you'll be further ahead. But also, again, it just establishes that, hey, I'm not there anymore. It's like when you start a new job, you're the new guy, somebody else starts, like, great, you can be the new guy now, and you can take all of this crap. I mean, there's less crap in the gym. That's just a workplace thing. But I remember going through all of that, and I remember it was kind of like a tap on the shoulder to me, like, hey, Simon, you're comfortable here now. It's all okay. You're a gym dude. And I was like, yes, finally, I made it. It's just one of those things. Number 5 is a more specific one, but it's understanding that you're now able to adapt on the fly. Because maybe you get there and the gym's really busy, maybe a machine's not working. Who the hell knows what's going to go down? Even though you've been smart and you've got a plan, you want to do these 6 exercises with this rep range and this intensity, you go to do the bench press, and it's taken. So you're like, what do I do? But there are other exercises. You can do it with dumbbells. You can do it on a machine. You can just do some press-ups. People forget that, doing press-ups instead of a chest press. Look, is it as good? No. But you're adapting on the fly here, man. Just make sure you bring that intensity. And that goes to show that not only you educated yourself, but you're listening and you're evolving and you're progressing in the gym. And given that any fitness YouTuber talks about is progressive overload, and that's because it's really good information, you are now taking that and you're making it work for you as well. And it's difficult, of course. Let's say you're doing an 80-kilogram bench press for 4 sets and 8 reps, and now you've got to try and figure that out with press-ups. You can probably do a lot more press-ups than that. You still know, all right, well, what I've got to do is I've got to smash every single set of these press-ups to failure. And you've got to lock my arms out and really, really squeeze, and you wake up the next day, and you know that you've had a good workout because you can feel it, and everything is going to be better in your life. And following right on from that is number 4, still getting delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS when you're no longer having your newbie gains. It becomes the ultimate chase. Does DOMS. I get it in my legs more than anywhere else. It's probably because I train my legs harder, because you've got to kick your legs ass. I know I've got small legs. I'm just filling in the comments for you right now. But that to me is still an ultimate thing. It's such a good thing because it makes you show that the harder you work out and the longer you work out, the more difficult it is to get DOMs because your body gets used to it. And you have to kind of play this chasing game, the dangling carrot, as we've talked about all the time. So on those rare occasions, some people get it more than others, but in my life, on those rare occasions when I do get DOMs, it's kind of a back and forth process because on the one hand, I'm like, yes, I did. On the other hand, it's like, well, why didn't you get it the other times? You absolute wank stain. But that's not the point. Life is about living in the moment and living day to day. So I can't worry about being Wankstain Miller the week before. Right now, I have to celebrate being Doms Miller. Number 3 kind of ties into fitness, YouTube, and other stuff, and that's when you know that somebody else is talking BS. This isn't the old version of you that would gone, oh, right, if I take creatine and rub it in my face, it will work. You know that's gibberish, and you know you only need to take 5 grams a day, be it at the start of the day, the end of the day, when you're working out, whenever the hell you please, because it doesn't make a difference. And that is massively important because I still get suckered in by some stuff. I mean, not so much now, but even sort of last 3, 4, 5 years, maybe somebody was trying to sell me a certain supplement, or I read some, what's the thing? I got nothing against, was it blood flow restrictive training, whatever it's called. But I tried it out, and I would say that it's vastly overrated, was my opinion. Again, if it works for you, that's great. But for me, I bought into it. I was like, oh my, this is what I've been doing wrong. Then I realized, no, traditional lifting weights is what's best for me. But you start to be able to cut through all the nonsense, and all of a sudden you realize that you are creating your own training session, your own training focus, your own training plan that works for you. And that's awesome. That means you're educating yourself, and you're listening, and you're learning, and you're not being... you're not worrying about things that you may have done anymore. Always make sure you take a moment just to realize how far you've come. Because we're all a little bit intimidated when we first go to the gym. So if you get to a point where you're not and you're smashing it, pat yourself on the back, Barry Horowitz. Number 2 is nice and simple. The bicep vein. Don't pretend you don't want it. We all want it. Doesn't matter what body fat percentage you are. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. All hail the bicep vein. And number 1 is any kind of big compound lift. Isn't it the flipping best? It can be a squat, it can be a deadlift, it can be a bench press. We'll even throw military presses in there. Probably more, clean and jerk's probably better. I don't really do those. But even if you're just going for 1 rep max instead of sort of like hypertrophy 8 reps or anything like that, when you hit that 1 big rep, and you know you've got a lot of weight on the bar, especially if you're doing a deadlift and you're seeing it bend. That's right, I make metal bend. I make steel bend to my will. It is so good. It is so good. And I would tell people, oh, I deadlifted this. No, I don't care what you did. And they're right, they shouldn't care because you're only in competition with yourself. But I still remember those times. My best ever lift, look, don't get me wrong, I was massively fat. I've shown pictures before, so it's not like I was big and ripped. I ate like crap because I wanted to be as strong as possible, which will work, but you'll look terrible. And I remember I was like 18.5 stone, fat, again, I want to make it clear. And I deadlifted 275 kilograms. For one, was not the perfect rep at all. And when I got to the top, I saw all the black stars or the black dots, and I was like, oh, I had to go and sit down afterwards. Again, would it have counted in a competition? Arguably, no. I think it would have been on the line, but it didn't matter. I got it up, and I put it down, and I was so happy. There you go, 10 moments in the gym that will absolutely confirm and change your life. If you haven't gone through them yet, I look forward to when you do, and let me know when you do. I like sharing these stories. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, ding, ding, then you know when other videos are going up. There's another video on the screen right now. Please come and watch it should you so wish. I got a Patreon, patreon.com/SimonMiller316. That's how I'm able to do all these videos, how I support myself. Instagram and Twitter at SimonMiller316, SimonMiller.BigCartel.com for merch. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow.